Alright, we are looking at the V-block and we're going to be drawing a 3-view drawing of this piece. And right now what we're looking at is how big is the overall size of this piece. It is 4 inches big by 1.5 inches big by 2.5. So we're trying to get that thing centered so it will look like when we go to our math in this scenario. Our top view will see 4 rectangles. Our front view, we're going to see where the V-block is, and our right side view, where you'll have a hidden line action here. So we get the measurements to fill out our cheat sheet. It's 1.5 inches wide. It's 2.5 inches tall. The 1 inches that I have is the given number that I give you. 1 inch is between the view. Same with this one. It's 4 inches wide. The 1 inch is between the view, and then once again it is 1.5 inches wide. So where we're looking at now is going to the paper and starting to draw the V-block. Alright, once again the cheat sheet gave us the measurements that I'm about to use here. And I've already got marked off, so I'm going to be placing the 1.5 inches wide here, the 1 inch spacing between the views, the 2.5 inches tall. I've already got them marked again. It said to show this top view, so here's the boxes to start off my top view and my front view. The 1 inch spacing between the views. So right now I'm looking at my top view, my front view, and my right side view. The drawing tells me that I got to come over 3/4 of an inch each ways to be able to get a 45-degree angle line. So we'll measure over 3/4 and 3/4. And then if I need a 45-degree angle line to get my V part of it, then I'm going to use my 45-degree triangle. And where are these two going to intersect? That gives me my V, where I can erase out this middle part now. Now I can start shooting my features up. This is going to represent that triangle. The point down here is going to represent the second, I should say, rectangle. And I'll shoot this one up. My top view is now done. I see 4 faces going across. Now I got to represent that this piece is not solid all the way through the part. So I'm going to shoot my point of the V-block over, and that is going to give me my 3 views. Now I'm going to erase this up and turn it back on here in a second. Alright, now notice I erased all my outside lines, so I've just got my top, my front, my right side view. This right here is worth 7 points. Now I'm going to have to dimension my drawing, and once I dimension it, then that will be the other 3 points. What I'm going to be doing here is there's 3 dimensions you always have to have on your drawing, and that is your length, your width, and your height. So I can put my overall width right here. I can put my overall height on whatever side that I want. Really doesn't make a difference. What I mean by that is I can put it here, here, or here. This overall width part here, I can put it here, 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 or here. It doesn't make a difference really where I put it, as long as I only have it once. The most common mistake is that people will start putting too many dimensions on there, which means you are over dimensioning the drawing. So right now I've got my length, my width, and my height shown. Again, this measurement here is the same as this measurement here. It better be 1.5. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put in 1.5 in there. It is 2.5 inches tall, so I'm going to go ahead and put 2.5 inches tall, and it's 4 inches wide. Once again, I only have to show it once. I'm not going to put the 4 here, 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 and here. That would be over dimensioning. We obviously are lining these views up in the top, front, and right side view in order to transfer these features. So we know that that's 4, 4, 4, and 4, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, or 1.5 and 1.5. So there's no reason to do it more than once. Now when we look at this drawing, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 features that we're looking at. Well, we have to dimension 3 of the 4. 2 of the 3, 1 of the 2. But in this example, we've got 4, so we're going to dimension 3 of the 4. And I'm pulling off these extension lines. And again, I could do these particular ones in a couple different spots. There's my arrowheads. I'm going to put 3/4 in here. I could put them here, down here, or up in this area. Doesn't make a difference. 1 of 3 spots. Now, these 2 squares are represented off of this angle, so I'm going to actually show that there's an angle in here. And if I had my circle template, but I'll just go ahead and use this piece of tape here, just because it's a circle part, I'll put my angle in there, and I can put 45 degrees. So in the very beginning of this, I said you had to dimension 3 of the 4. So there's 1, 2, 3 of the 4. Now, if we look at the actual drawing itself, when you zoom in on it, basically we're looking at all the dimensions that are on there. There's 1, the length, the height, the width. I've got the 2 3/4, and I've only got 1 of the 2 45s because they actually dimension 4 of the 4 instead of 3 of the 4. But in essence, it's still good to go. Now, I've zoomed in on one of my dimensions, and I want to point something out. These things right here are called extension lines. They are an extension of the object, not a part of the object. That's why you see that gap in there, and you see that gap in there. Then we have extensions beyond the dimension as well. It just kind of makes everything look a little bit easier to read. And then notice that I did put my arrowheads in, and then all the text should be readable up and down. You don't want to have to put, let's say I was to do 2.5 and I put 2.5 this way. You wouldn't want to put it that way because then you got to turn your head. So you want 2.5 just like what we did over, whoops, there's the 2.5. You don't want to put it sideways. You want to put it like we did that way. You want all the text the same direction off of the other ones. So once again, I'm looking for gaps. I'm looking for a slight overhang. I'm looking for arrowheads, and your text about a 1/4 of an inch tall. And again, the dimensioning is worth 3 points. And now the V block is finished.